Hello, good morning, and thank you so much for coming to join me. We've got an amazing, I say we being the magical we, that's me. I've got an amazing two hours planned for you here, live on Facebook. I just want to say hello and welcome. It's not very often I get the opportunity to do this, and it is wonderful to have you guys for a whole 2 hours this morning, where I've got all sorts in store. I've got loads of crafty demonstrations. We're going to be learning some brand new techniques. I'm going to be walking you through loads of the new products that we have landing in store right in time for the festive period. Things for you to be still making some of your Christmas cards. Maybe you're thinking about some Christmas gifting. Maybe you want some heads up on our Black Friday deals that we're going to be having in store. Well, trust me, I'm going to be telling you everything you need to know. And basically, so the plan is for the next couple of hours is just to have a nice crafty time together, do a bit of chatting. You can chat with me live in the comments. We're going to be reading all your comments out, going to be giving people name shouts, call outs, so let me know whereabouts you're watching from in the country, what it is you're up to this morning, and we're going to be chatting with you live. I can also take any of your questions and requests. If there's anything you want to know, I am here for you. For those of you that don't know, my name's Sara Davies, and I'm from a company called Crafters Companion, and we have been working with the range. The range have been a key partner of ours for, crikey, coming up 15 years now. And I mean, it still humbles me every time I get to walk around one of the range stores and you see in the arts and crafts department, you'll find all of our products. So next time you're shopping your local store, have a little look around. Look for the Crafters Companion sign there that you can see. Go and have a little look and you'll see all of our latest products to hit the shelves. Now, you'll see there'll be a big section for Crafters Companion. There's also going to be at one of the ends, as we're coming up basically, key gifting season this holiday. We know that everybody's going to be thinking about colouring, the number one craft. So you will see on the end of one of the big sections as you walk down the arts and crafts aisle, you will see all of our Spectrum Noir products on there as well. You'll also see, as you're looking around, there are some what we call FSDUs, freestanding display units, and you can't miss them. There's a big picture of me at the top, so as you're walking around, you'll probably hear me talking in store, telling you where to go and find all of our stuff. And then you'll see these lovely big units where it'll have all of the latest collections from my Sara Signature Collection brand. You'll find all of our latest products in there. Now, if you need some help finding your local store, okay, if you are brand new to shopping with the range and you want to go have a look on the range website, this was the website earlier this morning when we had a click on. Have a click on find your local store, and what you'll see is look at all of the stores here. So I'm in Newton Aycliffe, so you type in Newton Aycliffe and it will show you exactly where we are at the moment. And we've got Hartlepool, Middlesbrough, Darlington. There's a store up near Durham. There's another store at Sunderland. So I can see all of the stores that are close to me, and you can see exactly how far they are. So that's if you're wanting to shop in store. And the brilliant thing is, of course, because the range is essential retail, it's been able to stay open right throughout all of the lockdowns. So as long as you're shopping safely, please remember to take your mask and wear your mask in store, but you can still go and stock up on all of your crafting essentials that you need. You can get all of the brand new releases, maybe if you're wanting to do a little bit of Christmas shopping. As long as everyone is really safe and sensible, keeps to the social distancing rules and is able to wear a mask in store, you will be able to go and find all of our products in any one of the stores right across the UK. Now, if you aren't getting out and able to go to a store, you can always go online. So everything of ours is available online. So the range.co.uk/arts and crafts will take you to the arts and crafts page. Now, see on the left-hand side, there's a whole section called Crafters Companion, and you can go and browse through all of our products, depending on whether you're looking at our machines, the Sara Signature stuff, you're looking at our Spectrum Noir stuff, you'll find everything you need in that section. So we've got you covered. However you're wanting to shop, whether you're wanting to shop in store, online, we've got all of our products that you could want to buy. Now, This next couple of hours is all about getting interactive, about chatting, about crafting together. So don't forget to come and be a part of our show. Get social with us. So all you need to do is drop us a comment. So as you're watching this on Facebook now, you can comment along in the comments, and me and my team, we will see all of your comments. Anything that's a question, they'll feed through to me and I'll be able to answer live in the show. But more importantly, is we are going to be giving away a lot of the products that you see us using in this show. So yes, you can absolutely go and order any of these on the website afterwards, or you can go into your local store and find them, but wouldn't it be awesome to win them? Wouldn't it be awesome to win them? And all you need to do is comment along. So let's have a look at what you could be winning in this show, okay? So I'm going to be doing some amazing 3D embossing a little bit later, and I'm going to be teaching you how to use our 3D embossing folders. These are some of the brand new folders we've just got landing in store this week, and I've got a full set to give away for you. We've also got some amazing dies. So I'm going to be giving you some of the amazing dies, whether it's the Let's Party just for you, it's your birthday. I'm going to be giving you all of them. So one lucky winner is going to be winning all of those dies that we've got. I'm also going to be introducing you to the brand new Gemini Midi, our new machine. Oh, we've got stamps and all sorts giving away. There's our new machine, our Gemini Midi. So we will be giving away, one lucky winner will win our Gemini Midi live in the show. I'll be announcing that one. That's the biggie, that one. That's our brand new machine. I'll be announcing that right at the end of the show. So you can make sure you're commenting along all the way. I will pick winners as we're going through, but right at the end of the show, I will announce the big winner who will win our brand new Gemini Midi machine and the folders that you need to use it with. So it could be an early Christmas present to yourself. And all I would say is, the more you comment, the more likely you are for your comment to get noticed, because we're literally picking one comment at random. Now, Rachel's on here already. She's saying we're so generous. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you. So I've worked out that I can't craft along, talk to you guys, drink my cup of tea, and read the comments at the same time. So our lovely producer is going to be reading comments and telling me in my ear exactly what you guys are saying and what you're asking. So it's wonderful to have so many of you on live with us, and I really have got an amazing couple of hours planned. Now, I'm going to break it down into sections, so we're going to be doing a little bit of everything, and my idea is that you'll be able to come back. So if you are really interested in all the crafting, if you're wanting new ideas, what you can do at any point is, if you save this onto your wall, so if you click share, it'll put it onto your wall on Facebook, and then you can come back, maybe it's after you've been out and shopped and had the new products delivered, and watch the tutorials back again. You'll be able to watch them and see everything right on your wall. So let's have a look at what we're going to be looking at first. It's the brand new Woodland Friends collection. So we've got, all this is going to be appearing in store. You're going to have a look this week and you will literally see it hot off the press landing in store. We've got dies, we've got beautiful embossing folders, we've got die and stamp sets. I'm going to be teaching you some amazing stamping and colouring techniques here. Actually, I'm going to be teaching you a really great technique called, it's a masking technique where you can mask off. Oh, we've got these amazing stickers in this one as well. So we've got some great cardstock die cuts that you can pop out and use on your cards. So that is the whole collection. That's what you're going to be looking for in store. What I will tell you is, go and have a look on the website. It's all going to be there available on the website as well. So if you want to shop online or in store, we've got everything covered for you, okay? So what I'm going to do then is we're going to get everything out, and I can show you exactly what it is we're going to be doing and what we're going to be using, because this is the first card that we're going to be making today. So this is what I'm going to be teaching you how to do. And we're going to be using, let's have a little look. Here he is. There we go. We're going to be using this stamp set here. So can you see, as I open this up, this has got loads of stamps in, but you will see the actual owl stamps themselves, it's an individual stamp, yet we're going to be stamping two of them on top of each other. I'm going to be teaching you how to do that. That's the masking technique I was talking about. We're also going to be stamping, there's a second stamp set in here, with the fox on there. So we're going to stamp and colour in our little fox, and I'm going to be using our Spectrum Noir pens to teach you how to get that lovely, you know how it looks like the lights bouncing off his fur? That's what I'm going to teach you. So we're going to do a nice little bit of colouring, which gives me time to chat along and read in a lot of the comments. So get your comments in now and I'll be able to answer them. Now, Jenna, is it Jenna? Janice. Janice is wanting to know what's the difference between our brand new Gemini Midi and also the Gemini Mini other than the size. So, brilliant. Nothing other than the size. So look at this. This is our Gemini Mini, right? Now, when we've developed these, the Gemini Mini has a mouth opening that's 3 inches wide, which is brilliant for people just starting out crafting. However, you'll see a lot of the stamps and dies I'm going to be using just this morning are too big. They're wider than 3 inches, so they won't fit through this little opening. So your Gemini Midi, you'll see, is exactly the same machine, just with a wider opening. So it's got a full 6-inch opening. So it's the same size as the majority of die cutting machines out there. We have our Gemini Junior is exactly the same. So you're going to have all of that pressure of a Gemini in a smaller machine. And stay tuned, in about half an hour, we're going to be putting this machine through its paces and doing a full rundown on exactly why it's great. We're going to be cutting different materials. I've got some leather. I've got some aluminium cans. We're going to be doing a little bit of upcycling. I've got all sorts planned here. Now, Maxine's on here. She bought her big Gemini from the range. Well, Maxine, might be time you got yourself a handy little one to go with it. So you could always win it. You could always win it. Now, Emma's asking, could her kids be doing this? They're 9 and 11. Now, let me tell you, my kids are 4 and 6 coming up 7. And my kids both use these machines, both the Mini, this is the Mini here, both the Mini and the Midi machine. And I mean, our Charlie's been using it since he was 3. It's really easy to do, and I'll be showing you the techniques as we go through the show, okay? Right, let's have a little look. So, should we get these out and get ready and started for a little bit of colouring? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using that fox first of all. Now, it's really important to understand, okay, you want the right tools and equipment. So we're going to stamp and we're going to colour with our Spectrum Noir pens. So actually, I'm going to get all of my Spectrum Noir pens here, and we have all of our Spectrum pens in store. And look how nice and organised I am, because I have all of mine here organised. I'm going to try and put it over here so that you'll be able to see them all as well. I have all of my pens organised by colour. So I've got mine in the, what we call our storage. This is our Spectrum Noir storage. So you've basically got these wonderful trays where you can store all of your pens in here. So I've got all of my pens organised in there, so that it means when I come to want to use the different colours, I've got them ready to hand. But also it's about having the right tools and equipment. So if I'm going to be stamping with our Spectrum Noir pens, those are alcohol-based pens. So what I need to do is I need to use my, oh look, I've got the wrong ink. Of course I have. I'll need my alcohol-proof dye. Now let me just show you the difference between them. This one here is your waterproof ink, and I'm going to show you this one here is the alcohol proof ink, okay? So can you see the difference? One of them's got a water brush on the front, one of them's got an alcohol pen brush on the front. Now, somebody's just been asking as well, Cassie, she's asking, do you have any Spectrum Noir pens for watercolour? We absolutely do. They're called the Spectrum Aqua pens, and I'll use them a little bit later on in the show when we use our new dragon stamps, and I'll show you some watercolour techniques. So I'll need this ink pad when we're doing our watercolour stamping. So I'll pop that down there ready. This is the one that I'm going to use when we're doing our alcohol pen, and it's about using the right ink pad, because without getting too technical, if we're using, let's take the watercolour for example, if we're using a watercolour pen and we use a watercolour ink pad, what happens is as soon as you drop a little bit of water onto the bit that you've inked, that'll splurt out. So what you need is the opposite type of ink. You need a permanent ink, which essentially is a solvent based, it's like an alcohol based ink to stamp into, so that when you put the water on it won't move. And it's the same the other way around. You need a waterproof based ink so that when you colour with your alcohol pens, it's not going to move. That's why the different inks are important. So I've got here, let's have a little look, I've got some paper. There's the next thing that's great to have good results for. You want the right type of paper, and this is our Nina Classic Crest. So we have this on the website, we have this in store as well. All these core things, whether it's the right paper, the right inks, that's what you'll find in store, okay? So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to stamp them, right? We're going to stamp that onto this base, and again, lots of little hints and tips here. This is our stamping mat, and I'm also going to get out one of our little stamping platforms. Now, there's loads of different ways to stamp, And if you go and have a look in store, have a look on the website, you'll see all of our core tools, all these things that I'm going to be using all day. These core tools are what we have available, you know, on the website if you go and have a little look. So let's have a little look. I want that there. I'm going to get a little bit more of that Nina cardstock out. Here we go. Got plenty of it there. I'm going to stamp this fox. So I always take the ink pad to the stamp. So lots of light tapping. And then when we stamp this down here, I'm going to put him right in the middle so that you'll be able to have a good look up close. And then you can see all of the base here. All right, so we've got all of that. Now, I'm going to colour that fox in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of the oranges. All right, so if I have a little look here, I'm going to go, here we go, burnt oranges. So the burnt oranges, you'll see, all have BO on the edge of them. And the trick with alcohol pen colouring is that we want to have 3 different shades from the same family. So if I show you these overhead, we've got BO1, BO2 and BO3, right? So this is the way alcohol pen colouring works, okay? We're going to take this, let's colour his tail. And I'm going to put a lot of the very, very light shade down here. This is BO1, so I'm putting that lovely light shading down. Then what we're going to do is come in with the very, very darkest one. And right into the edge here, I'm coming in with that dark shade, and we're just bringing in a little bit of the very, very darkest shade there. Can you see? And under here. So as I come in around the edges here, we've got that very, very dark shade, and we're putting the dark bit of colour down first, okay? Do you know, and I'm getting that squeakiness. I'm going to put another sheet of card behind, and it just helps your pen flow that little bit easier, okay? And I've just realised, look at this, I've coloured it, I've used BO2 instead of BO1. We want this lovely light shade in the middle. There's me BO1, but don't worry, because what you can do is you can go over with the lightest colour, all right? So I'm popping that down there. Now, Kelly is asking, what is the size of our fox image? Let's have a little look. I'll tell you because this has got printing on there. So he is about 1, 2, 3, about 3 inches tall, Kelly. I hope that helps you. Right, let's have a little look. I'm going to colour a little bit more. Let's start with this lightest one again. Then this is what I meant to do first time. So I'm going to put the lightest shade in the middle of his arms here, and then also around his tummy. Okay. Now Michelle's asking, what are the best type of pens to use for blending? These are them, Michelle. These are the ones that you're after. Basically, an alcohol-based pen is going to allow you to get that perfect shading and blending. So you're going to be able to use the alcohol base, and that is what will give you this kind of, you see how I'm blending, because you look at that in the moment and think, how on earth is she going to blend that dark shade into the medium shade, okay? But trust me, as soon as you start going on, so we'll go from the dark into the medium term here, which is what I'm doing there. And then again, bringing the dark down here. And then we're going to come right into the lightest one. Now, little bit of a heads up, any of you who are thinking about getting any of our Spectrum pens, maybe this is something that's been on the top of your list for Christmas, for example, right? You will be excited to hear that the range for Black Friday are going to be having 30% off all of our Classique pens for Black Friday, okay? So 30% off all the way through Black Friday on all of our Classique pens, and that starts on the 19th, all right? Now, Amy's asking, well, is the range open today because of the lockdown? Well, let me tell you, Amy, absolutely, because the range is essential retail, because they sell a lot of food products, people go there for essentially their weekly shop. So they are classed as one of the retailers who is essential and will be staying open right throughout the lockdown, which means that while you're in there getting all your essential foodstuffs, you can also be going and picking up all of your, what Boris Johnson would probably never understand as being our essential craft stuff, but your essential craft stuff as well. So it's brilliant that you're able to kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone while you're getting all of your essentials, be able to pick up all of your craft products too. So here we go. Right, I've got a question in from Gemma as well. What was Gemma asking? She said, if you don't stamp properly the first time, can you redo it with a stamping platform? Right, so if you are going to use a stamp positioner, then you absolutely can. So let's show you what a stamp positioner is. This is our stamp positioner, okay? So if you have, for example, and I can use this actually for our next, I'll pop the fox there and I'll come back to him, okay? So if I pop this down and I put some of our, this is our 8x8 magnetic stamping base, okay? I'm going to take, let's take a different one. Let's take our little owl, all right? And let's decide where we want the owl to go. So we're going to put the owl here. There we go. And then we come and pick the owl up, okay? Now I'm going to try and mess this up to illustrate this, okay? So let's imagine we've stamped it, but we've missed some bits because I haven't put my ink on everywhere. Watch what happens when I lie this down, you see. We get a really, hopefully, a really bad, yeah, that's come out really bad. Not very happy with how that is. Now if you, because we've left the stamp exactly on the stamp positioner, put plenty of ink on the next time, we turn this round, and now I can stamp down there and get a perfect image over the top, okay? But that's because we've used a stamp positioner. Now I didn't with the fox because I just stamped it in the middle. So if the likelihood of me being able to get that exactly perfectly lined up again is pretty slim, which is what the base stamp positioner allows you to do here. Now, while I'm on stamping my little owl, I can show you a fantastic technique if you want, the one I was going to show you with the masking technique. So let me just show you, I've stamped my owl again onto a post-it note. So I've stamped him onto a post-it note and cut around it, which means what we can do is we can lie this over the top. There we go. Make sure he's exactly over the top of our first one. So what we've done is we've masked off our first image. And then watch what we can do. We can bring the little owl in again and say, right, I want that owl standing on this owl's head. So I'm going to see where I want it to appear around about there, so that his feet are just on the owl's head, but not necessarily going over his eyes. Once we're happy with where it is, you can bring this back in. We can pick this up. Oh, there we go. See, we had a little bit of residual ink on there. That's called shadow stamping, that is. We can stamp this another time, and we can go and pop this in. Now, Anne's asking if our tri-colours are alcohol as well. Now, we do a tri-blend, which is an alcohol based, and then we also do, let's have a look, I'm going to pop another one here and stamp something else we're going to be standing on. We also do our tri-colour aqua pens. So if anything says aqua on it, then I can guarantee you the aqua is water based, and if anything is tri-blend, I can tell you that the blend ones are our alcohol based ones. Hopefully that'll explain it. Now, Bev's asking which pens are best to use and why are there two types. Now, Bev, let me tell you, different people like to colour different ways. So the alcohol-based pens are all about the blending, okay? So, and I'll do a little bit more blending here on this owl just to show you when we've done this. Your water-based pens, which we'll use later on in the show, are about like having a softer watercolour feel to it. Let's have a look at that. Can you see how clever that is now? Looks like all one big image where he looks like he's standing on top of the previous one. And that is called a masking technique. It's a brilliant, brilliant technique. It's like a little totem pole of owls there, isn't it? So I can't remember who was asking, but I think hopefully that answers the question about being able to go over your stamped image as well. That was Gemma. That was Gemma. Look at that, how everybody's keeping me right. Now, while I've got that down there, I'm going to do a tiny little bit of colouring on there. So if I just pop another sheet underneath, let me just show you. Let's have a look. We'll do our colouring. Right, we'll use the browns. Remember the technique that I told you? You want 3 of the same colour. So I'm going to go with the earth browns. So I'm going to go with 1, and then we'll step up to 3, and then I'll step up to 5, right? So if I show you this, these are all earth browns, but can you see we've got a light shade, then we've got a medium shade, right? Then we've got a dark shade. So you've got 3 different shades of the same one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say, let's step a little bit further from number 1. Let's go from 1 to 4. Yeah, there's a bigger step from 1 to 4. So let's have a look. I'm going to go 1, 4, and then let's go a little bit darker still. Maybe it's with number 7. Oh, maybe it's a little bit of a step too dark, so we can step 1 down. This is the beauty, you see, of having, there we go, there's number 6, of having all the pens in the collection, okay? Now, all of these pens are available individually, okay? So what we do, that's Elaine's asking about that. What we do at the range is we put you collections of pens together. so that it's brilliant for you to get as a starting point. For example, if you were to buy our set of browns, you would see you'll have blends of the same shade. Instead of having, because if you buy a mix pack and it's just got one red, one blue, one orange, you can't do this blending technique that I'm trying to teach you about. You need to have 3 of the same colour, okay? Now let's have a little look. Let me just show you how we do the base. If we want to colour the owl to look a little bit 3, should we colour in the tree trunk? Might be easier for the camera to see here, right? So we're starting with the lightest one, and we're colouring in right across the middle. This is called laying down your base of alcohol, right? So we're getting the paper nice and soggy essentially with the alcohol, right? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with the darkest one. So we're going to come underneath here where it will be dark around the top, and we're putting in that very, very dark shading, all right? And then coming down the edges, and I'm going to come up from the bottom as well and just bring up a little bit from here, okay? Now, Cassie is asking, would these stamps be good for stamping onto canvases? Cassie, absolutely. The thing is, if you've got great quality stamps, and these are photopolymer stamps, so if you've got great quality stamps, you'll be able to stamp onto any surface with them. You just need the right inks. So hopefully that answers that question, Cassie. Now, can you see I've got in that very, very darkest shade here, and I'm just following all of the shading on the actual stamp itself, right? Then I'm going to go from there into the medium, and I'm going to blend out where the dark one finishes. I'm blending over it with the medium, okay? Now, Claire's asking what the different types of pens that we have are. She's asking about the Colorista, the Tribal and the Classic. They're all alcohol-based pens, okay? We've just designed them. Some people prefer to work with different types of mediums. It's the same with our illustrators. They're also alcohol-based. So some people like to have an alcohol-based pen that has a brush nib, for example. So we do some that are brush nibs. Other people like to have ones that have a finer point. We did our Colorista pens, which are our nice, like, fine point alcohol pens. The classics that I'm using here are kind of our go-to catch-it-all. So these are the pens that are suitable for everybody at every type of level of colouring, okay? So here we go. So I've got that lovely blend and ombre going on in there. Can you see? So we look like we've got that little bit of shading, and you would continue, would do the same with the owls. We would shade around the outside of the owls. I'm very conscious of time because I've got loads and loads of demos to do. What I can do is I can show you, here we go. So here are the owls that I've done a little bit of shading for there. All right, so there's my owls. And then my fox that I finished colouring in, he's the fox. I've also done little badger. Now, when I got these ready, I got my different, did the little stools separately like that so that you can stand them on top, okay? Little stump there. And what I am going to do is I'm going to do a nice stepper card, okay? So I've got some individual pieces here, and we can put a whole stepper card together. So when we talk about a stepper card, I'll take these to one side. This is the type of card that we're talking about, okay? So this one here is, let's have a little look, tell you the exact size over here. It is 6 inches, okay? 6 by 4. So what you do is you have a piece of card 6 inches, and you put a fold line in, and then we've got another 6 inches, and then can you see where we've got a few different pieces here, right? So we've then done a little bit of a fold. We've got an inch and a half, and then an inch and a half back down, which gives it this. Now this that I'm creating, I'm using like a base stamping card as it was, okay? So, because Gemma's asking about different types of papers that we can do. So when I stamped onto here, to be able to colour it, I stamped onto our Nina Classic Crest. So that's a brilliant alcohol pen colouring card. A little bit later, I'm going to do some watercolour. In fact, I can show you the card we're going to be doing later if you want. We're going to be using the little dragon stamps, and we're going to be doing some watercolour. So it's a completely different look watercolour. And we're going to be doing that, and we're going to be using the watercolour cardstock to work on too. So that's what we're going to be doing a little bit later in the show, so you know what to look forward to. But then I've used just a base stamping card, base cardstock to create the base card from, okay? Now, let's have a little look at what we're going to be able to do. I have, actually I'm going to create one of these for you. Let's have a little look. I'm going to get a bit of cardstock out. And that is, right, let's have a little look. This is our Nina cardstock. So this is our nice shiny cardstock. I'm going to get a little bit of our stamping card out from under here. and you've got all of the, oh look, this is going to be lovely, it's going to be watercolour. Let me show you how you do a nice watercolour background, okay? So I'm going to take a couple of our ink pads, and we've got some lovely ink pads in our collection. Again, go and have a look on the website and you will be able to see everything that we have to do, okay? So I'm going to use this, and then I'm going to bring in just one of my applicator tools, and watch, we're going to create an all over background to use with our embossing folder. So let's have a little look. Embossing folder, here we go. And if I bring this in, I want to make sure that this is cut. I'm actually going to cut it a tiny little bit smaller than what the embossing folder is. So you'll see this, and this is a lovely kind of like inking blending technique that we're going to be doing. So now that guillotine is available again on the website. Go and have a little look, and you'll see all of our core products and tools are available both in store and on the website, depending on how you prefer to shop, okay? So here we go. I'm just starting to do a little bit of inking on here. Now, Brownie's Crafts is asking which type of ink you use for stamping. Now, it depends on what you are stamping, and I know that you're going to think, well, that's a ridiculous question, but if you noticed a little bit earlier when I was talking about it, I was talking about using the right type of ink. So a watercolor ink, an alcohol resistant ink is perfect for when we're using alcohol pens, and alcohol resistant, have I said alcohol? Water resistant one for when you're using watercolor pens, alcohol resistant one for when we're using alcohol pens in there. So you just need to make sure that you're using the right type of ink. It's not a case of there's one type of ink for stamping. It's what are you stamping? Are you stamping to colour in with alcohol pens? Are you stamping to colour in with watercolour pens? Or are you not stamping to colour in with pens? Are you just stamping just to stamp a nice base? In which case you're going to want what's called a pigment ink pad, okay? Now, can you have a look at this? I've just given this I've created my own all over background by mixing a few of these different colours together. Now I'm going to move our Spectrum Noir pens out of the way here and put them back on the shelf. You see, this is how nice and organised we are here. Crafters HQ, I've got them nicely organised and out of the way. Let me show you, I'm going to pop this into my machine. So if you have a little feel of your embossing folder, one side will be debossed and one side will be embossed. So one side's raised, one side's reduced. I like to have it so that I've got the raised section so that we're embossing into the edge. Or you can do it the other way, and if we were to emboss it the other way, what we do is we emboss the outside of the leaves and the leaves stay down into there. So I'm going to do this for a slightly different option. Now, Sue's chatting along with us in the comments, and she says when she goes to the range, her husband usually leaves her there. I know it's the sort of shop when I go there, I'm there a couple of hours, Susan. It's exactly the same for me. Now, I'm going to get my brand new Gemini Midi out. Now, we're going to be using this a lot, coming up in around about 10-15 minutes. We're going to be putting this through its paces. But what I'm going to show you now is to use it for die cutting and to use it for embossing, you go straight into the machine. So I'm going to use it for embossing here. You'll see when you buy your Gemini Midi, it'll come with 2 extra bits, okay? Come with a folder like this, and this is to use for all of your die cutting. And then it'll come with an extra purple shim. So this is to use for embossing. So I'm going to use this now, and I'm going to pop this into the Midi. Now, I did explain earlier in the show, the Midi is 6 inches wide. I know a few of you were asking about that in the comments now. 6 inches wide. So all of these larger 5x7 embossing folders in your larger dies go through there absolutely no problem. Now look at that, you see, we've debossed, and it's a nice slightly different effect. We've debossed onto that straight through the machine. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with that slightly darker shade, pick up some of that ink again, and just give it a slight rub over. And can you see what it does is it makes it look like we've got this it's like you're going into the woods. This is what I loved about this folder, especially if you deboss it like this. It gives the feeling and impression of going into the woods with the leaves kind of being pushed into the base of the folder. So that is how you kind of emboss and create your own background ethereal feel like this, okay? Isn't that lovely? So we're going to use that on the front of our card now. Couple of little hints and tips as we're going here. I'm just going to bring in some, just wipe and keep my work surface clean as we're going. In fact, that one's, we need a nice moist one. Here we go. Give it a good rub over like this, and then what you do is you avoid getting any adhesive or inks onto the rest of your cardstock, okay? And then I'm going to just take, we're going to start and put the whole card together, right? So if I just remind you what we were working towards, this is the little card that we're on making, okay? So I can take this out of the way, and then you can all see really, really well, okay? So we're going to start off, we've got that nice base card. And to start and put everything together, what I've got is I've taken one of those bits that we've embossed and just mounted it onto another little bit of brown card. And then I'm going to use the, we have two different types of tape pens, okay? We have our straight tape pens and we have our dotty tape pens. Again, all of these core products are all available if you go and have a look on the website. So when we doing flat sticking like this, I want you to use our straight tape pens. And then when you're using, let me just show you the difference, the two of them up close, right? These are our straight tape pens, these are our dotty tape pens. These are for when you are wanting to stick down intricate pieces. I'll show you that later in the show. These are brilliant for your matting and layering. So just when we're doing our basic matting and layering, you see I'm going to take another piece and I'm going to layer this and pop it on the front like this. There we go. So now we've got that lovely base. So there's our nice stepper card ready to start and decorate. And this is when you're going to use all of your little bits and pieces. Now, we do a product called Collal 3D glue gel, and this is for when you're doing all of your 3D sticking. So for example, I want to put, I've got the little fox that we did. I've also got a couple of little leaves that I stamped and cut out. And I want to put my little fox and also the little hedgehog down on the front. So when we're doing that, we're going to take this. So I've just cut this out, what's called fussy cut. So I've just cut around the outside. Some of our stamp sets are just stamps. So this one here that we're using, oh, there we go. This one here that we're using is just a stamp set. We have another set in the show that is stamps and die. So let me just show you the difference. The stamp and die set that we have available is the little one here that's got the deer. So where we have the deer one, the deer has got a stamp and a die set because he's a little bit bigger and he cuts to the outside. So that's the set for just the deer. On the set that's got the fox in, it's called Woodland Animals. It's got the fox, the tree trunk, it's got some little leaves. Look at that, so it's only $7.99 because you're just getting the stamps there, okay? So here we go. What we're going to do is I've decanted a little bit of that Collal glue gel into a syringe. So it comes with a syringe. And can you see if we want to put all of this together, you're just going to syringe a little bit of that glue gel onto the bottom and your fox goes into the base like that. And then we can get a couple of little bits sticking out from underneath here like this. There's our fox. And we're going to do exactly the same with his little friend, the hedgehog. So this is what I love about the 3D glue gel. You see, you've got the opportunity to move it round. So I'm going to take him here. And again, we're going to pop a little bit of glue gel on there to hold it in place. And a little leaf as well coming out the top. And you've always got a little bit of maneuverability with this glue gel. It's like a silicone-based product, but it's not got any silicone in. So it's got all the great properties of silicone, none of the properties that we don't like, okay? So this is going to go into here, and you see, so we get all those positioned in. So there's the front of our card. And then for this main part, of course, I've got my little two owls, and I've got the base that they're standing on. Now, I felt like they looked just a little bit too plain on there. So what I did is I just die cut out a nice little frame. So look how much better they look when they've got a frame behind them there. Yep, just gives it a little bit more 3D-ness, okay? So to stick the frame down, I'm going to use that straight tape pen because we want it to get a really, really good stick on the base there. Now, Ashley's asking, can we use that tape pen for wrapping presents? Ashley, you are a woman after my own heart. Let me tell you, I always use my tape pens for wrapping presents. They are so much more convenient than tearing little bits of sellotape off. So I would highly recommend those of you who are getting into present wrapping mode at the moment, that tape would be absolutely perfect to do it with, okay? So let's have a look. I'm going to tuck this under here so that he's standing on there. Now, Ashley's also asking, how long does it take for this glue to set? So I would say about 15 minutes, and it will be kind of touch proof. But then I always leave the cards overnight before I put them in an envelope when I'm using 3D glue gel like this. But look, I've been able to use that to put that whole card together. It's really, really convenient. Look at that, isn't that lovely? So you get a nice 3D look like that, but it just brings everything together nicely. Now, remember, for those of you that have just joined us while we've been live, I'm here today. My name's Sarah Davies, and I am part of the team at Crafters Companion. And we are part of the team who works with all the guys at the range. So we've been working with the range now for coming up 15 years. And if you are looking to buy our products, I know for a lot of you, getting access to craft supplies at the moment is not always the easiest thing. So the great thing is all of your range stores are open. They're essential business. You can go in and get all of your essentials while we're still in lockdown, because obviously all of your food stuff's available. And then while you're in store, you're able to shop and pick up your extras. We do just ask that everybody keeps really safe, sticks with the social distancing guidelines, wears a mask when they're in store. But actually have a little look in store. Now, this was obviously filmed long before any talk of a pandemic, but you can see if you go and have a look around your local store, you'll see the Crafters Companion section in the arts and crafts aisle. So wherever you're at in the country, go and have a little look, and you can go and find everything you need in that arts and crafts section. Now, when you're looking for Crafters Companion, you'll see our head about that lovely big purple logo, and you're going to be able to come and get exactly whatever it is you need in that arts and crafts section, okay? So that is if you are shopping and you're wanting to look in store. Now, if you are not available to go in store, everything that we have is available on the website. So if you're looking on the website, I want you to go to therange.co.uk/arts and crafts. Down the left-hand side, you'll see by collection, Crafters Companion. That gets you to what's called our brand shop. Once you're in our brand shop, you can shop through, see all the products. There's all of those Spectrum Noir pens that I've been talking about. That's what I've been using. I'm going to be doing some watercolor a little bit later as well. So I'm going to be able to teach you all of that, okay? Now, while I'm tidying down, is there any questions that have been coming in? I'll be able to answer some questions. So I can pop this out. Oh, should we put the card that we made up on here? Now, we've got, someone's asked, please can you explain the difference? Therese has asked, please can you explain the difference between ink pads and their uses? Wow. I need a whole 2-hour show just to cover that, Therese. So basically, in a nutshell, there is different ink pads for different purposes. So if you are wanting to, like for example, I was creating that blended background earlier. For that, you want a nice water reactive ink pad, okay? So you want something nice to be able to kind of do all of your water, all of your blending with. If you are stamping and you just want a nice, clear, crisp stamped image, you want a pigment ink pad for that, okay? Now, if you are stamping with a purpose, if you are stamping to colour, if you are colouring with a water-based ink, so, aqua pens, aqua pencils, anything you're going to put water onto, then you need to use a waterproof ink. If you are stamping with alcohol-proof ink, if you are wanting to colour with an alcohol-based pen, so that's our Classiques, our people were asking about Colorista earlier, our Illustrator pens, any of our blendable alcohol-based pens, then what you're going to need to do is you're going to be needing to use our alcohol-proof ink pads. So a lot to take into there. What I would say is we do tutorials on all of our different inks on Crafters Companion YouTube. So if you go onto the YouTube page, you'll be able to watch all of the different shows where we talk to you about the different types of inks and when you would use all those different types of inks. Maybe we need to be having a think about doing an ink pad 101 on the page at some point. That would be fantastic. I'll speak to the guys and see if we can get that organised at some point, okay? Now, Janice is also saying, when you go over blending with ink, does the lighter nib get stained? Now, that would do if you were using like a water-based product, but when we use an alcohol-based product, so when we use the alcohol pens and we were using the 3 colours, it absolutely doesn't. It does what's called flushing out the nib. And again, we've got full tutorials on all of our Classique pens. This is what we're really well known for, Crafters Companion. You buy a product and then we hold your hand through all of the uses. So what you're getting today here on the Range Facebook page is a little flavour of all of the education that we do. So we're giving you that little bit of a flavour so that you can try and know enough to know and make a decision on purchasing the products. Then when you get them home, you've got all of that support, okay? Now, one last question on colouring. Elaine is asking, do you think of where the light is coming from when you're colouring? Yes, you absolutely do, Elaine. You have a light source. That's when we're going to use our light, medium and dark pens so that we always go towards the light source. And again, that's something else that we colour in loads of detail if you go and look in our colouring tutorials in depth, okay? Now, that's given me a little bit of time to get tidied up there, and it means we're ready to get on to using our Gemini Midi. Now have a little look. This is the brand new launch in our collection. So brand new, the stock is actually just arriving in store next week. So it's going to be with you if you go and have a look. So don't go this afternoon, it won't be there. It's going to be coming next week. You'll be able to find that in store. Now, for those of you who are just seeing this for the first time, I want to introduce you to the Midi. So I want you to understand what is different about this machine to our other machines, okay? And I'll tell you the story in the background. Now, we started off in the die cutting world in a different place to a lot of companies. So most die cutting companies were either selling dies or were getting into the die cutting world and had a die cutting machine to cut out some basic dies, okay? We were a die company, so we were making really intricate dies, and we found that we were trying to innovate in the die cutting field, doing more and more intricate dies, and then we found that the machines that were out there in the market couldn't possibly cope with the pressure requirements of really intricate dies. So for example, when I talk about a really intricate die, this is what I'm talking about. Have a little look overhead and you will see this die here. We're asking it, as it goes through the machine, each one of these little raised up bits is another cutting point. So this die we're asking to cut between 50 and 60 times with one pass through the machine. And any of you who are die cutting enthusiasts would know there's no way your machine would cope with that. It would cut a little bit around the outside and leave all the middle bit because it just doesn't have enough pressure. So what we did was, at Crafter's Companion, we invented the Gemini. So we developed the most powerful machine on the market with the most amount of pressure to be able to use that pressure to either cut multiple cuts at once or to be able to cut through really, really thick material. So this was, and it became the gold standard of die cutting machines around the world, not just here in the UK, around the world. And I mean, we're the manufacturers of this. You can find this in store in your local range. It's probably the top of a lot of people's Christmas presents this year, Christmas present list. And we've been selling that machine now for 5-6 years, I think. And it's the same machine we sell today as we were selling back then, to the same specification, because it is made to the highest pressure specification that you can manage, okay? So that's where we started. Now, when we started there with the Uber all sing and all dance and most powerful machine on a 9-inch wide opening, that is, you know, £200. And then what happens is people want to be able to get into die cutting, but at a smaller level, and make it more accessible. So we went from the large machine to doing a junior, which is a 6-inch wide machine, still electronic, and we got the price point down a little bit further to the 150 mark. Then a lot of people just getting started wanted a way to trial this. So we developed, don't know where I've put my, here it is. So we developed the Gemini Mini, which was all the power of a Gemini in just a 3-inch wide opening. So it meant that it became accessible for regular people at home, okay? So we have the Gemini Mini available in store, and it has been, and we sell thousands of these every year, okay? Now the Midi has been developed because people want the convenience and the portability. They want the price point of a manual die cutting machine, but they want the performance of an electronic machine. So when I say the performance, they want to be able to cut that die in one pass through a machine. This is the machine to do it. And I challenge you to find another manual die cutting machine that can do this. Now let me show you how this works. I've got here, I've got my Midi. I've gone for quite a thick cardstock, so I've gone for a coated mirror cardstock, and we'll put our die cut on there. Now in with your Midi, you are going to get, and I've talked about these before, the plates, okay? So the plates are not like regular die cutting plates, it is literally just a folder, okay? So what you do, different to regular die cutting, is we just take our die, we pop it onto the plate, and then all you do is you just close this over. So we just close, and we basically make a sandwich inside the folder. Now, I am right-handed, so I'm going to turn mine around so that I've got my handle on the right-hand side, and we go into the machine and just turn. So just as you would expect any manual die cutting machine to operate, only it's got the added convenience of not having plates, just having this folder. And then I'm so confident in this, I'm going to do a special Sara zoom. Are you ready for this? Special Sara zoom, and you can see how every bit of that has cut to absolute perfection. So all we do is I give a little bit of a tap on the back here, and you can tap out all of those elements, and you'll see every last little bit of that folder is cut. I put it in front of the white so you can see it. It's cut absolutely perfectly. So you see there's nothing that's even left. I'll show you it on the overhead so you can have a good look here. Can you see everything has cut out perfectly? And I mean, what I will say is there's somebody asking, do you need a lot of pressure to turn the handle? Karen's asking. Karen, brilliant question. Now, obviously, when we use our electronic machines, it's got a motor. When we're using the manual machines, you are the motor, so you've got to turn the handle, okay? But we know that in developing a manual machine, the reason most people go to electronic, want to use a Gemini, is because they can't turn the handle. It's too much strength, too much pressure. So what we've done is we've built the gears inside here in such a way that it does the work for you. So you saw there, I mean, I'll get another piece. I'll get the next thing and we'll die cut the next thing. Look, I've got some, you're not going to believe it's going to do this, okay? I've got some upholstery leather. Now, is this going to fit on there? No, it's not. We'll have to go a little bit small. I'll get a nice bigger piece. Look at this. We have, believe it or not, guys, round the corner from our offices here at Crafters Companion HQ is a upholstery company. And they let us have all of their scrap bits of leather for our demonstration. They must not have a clue what we're doing with them. But watch this. I'm going to put this onto here, and I'm going to die cut into, and I mean, this is super thick. Have a look how thick this is. This is upholstery leather, right? So we're die cutting into like the thickest material. But again, all we're doing is we're folding this over, and we are going through the midi. Now, Christine's asking, will it cut glitter card in one pass? Christine, it's about to cut upholstery leather in one pass. So glitter card, it just laughs in the face of glitter card. Look at this. I mean, there is no clicks, no scraps, and that is super thick upholstery leather. How absolutely incredible. Now, Diana is asking, how long will these folders last? Now, great top tip for you here, okay? You can use these folders on both sides. So what I mean by that is, we've got the Gemini Midi here. So I'm looking at the Gemini Midi logo. So when we cut this, okay, we put this into the folder like this, right, with Gemini Midi on the top. What you can do is open this and fold this right around so that you end up with the Gemini Midi in the inside, which has the effect, so you've turned the folder right through 360 degrees, which has the effect of essentially turning the folder inside out. So if you, as long as you turn and rotate that folder, you will get a lot of use out of it, okay? However, I do want to give a note of caution, okay? This is a consumable, okay? So the more you use it, you will want to replace this after a while, okay? So we have, look at this, we have a 2-pack available at the range of accessory folders. I would recommend, while you're in picking up a machine, for that price, pick up an extra twin pack of the folders. If you're going to be doing a lot of cutting of things like upholstery leather, then trust me, you want to pick up some extra folders, because the more pressure you put through this, the more you're going to have here. Now, Joe's asking, can you use your foil press through this? I'm sorry, Joe, the foil press has got to work with your big Gemini, because we've got the heat sensors built into the Gemini to be able to cope with that electron. So anything electronic, keep your electronics together. This is about being able to craft on the go, to have the portability, but have all the pressure of a regular die cutting machine, of a Gemini die cutting machine, but now in a portable format. So now, Gemini, don't forget, by the way, we are going to be giving one of these away. So all you need to, and you can see all the details are on there as well. This is going to be installed 25th of November. But if you want to win one, then all you need to do is be leaving us a comment. So I'm going to be picking a winner in a few minutes. I'm going to be choosing somebody to win our Gemini Midi. What I'm going to do, though, is first of all, I'm going to put it through its paces a little bit more. but I wanted you to know you could be with a chance of winning one. And these are just landing here in the UK this week. Because the range is our major partner here in the UK, if you want to buy a Gemini Midi, we've sold out, we've had pre-sales all over now, and chances are the range is going to be one of the last places. They brought thousands of these in. They're all landing in store next week. So if you're looking to pick up a Gemini Midi, whether it's for yourself for Christmas, whether it's as a Christmas present, whether you just want to treat yourself, then they're going to be in store. We're seeing from the 25th of November, we'll have them available in all stores and on the website. Now, should we just do, for those of you that don't know, by the way, Gemini is called a Gemini because it's a twin function die cutting and embossing machine, okay? So we've done our die cutting, we've die cut our intricate dies, we've die cut onto our thicker material, which is the leather. Now we can do some embossing onto there. So what I'm going to do is, I've got my embossing folder. This is one of our 3D folders, okay? And I'm just having a feel. This is my raised up bits, and these are my pressy down bits as it was, right? So we're going to emboss into here. Now with your folders, they go straight into the MIDI. Now what I want is I want a really, really deep emboss. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a little bit, some scrap pieces of card, and I'm just going to cut some, let's have a little look. Oh, look at that, some scrap pieces of card, and I'm going to pop them into my folder with my embossing on there, just to give it a little bit more pressure, okay? So that goes into there just to give it a little bit more pressure in the folder, and then you go straight into the MIDI. So I haven't got any plates, I've gone straight into the MIDI with that, with the folder. Now I've added the extra pieces of card in here to give it that extra pressure, because I want the camera to be able to capture this. I mean, look at that. That is absolutely, I mean, that looks fabulous, doesn't it? And that is leather embossed straight through your Gemini Midi. You could be making little luggage tags with that. That really is incredible. And that just shows you the pressure that we've got in the MIDI, okay? So whether it's die cutting intricate dies, whether it's die cutting onto thick materials, whether it's embossing onto thick materials. I've got one last thing I want to show you before we pick a winner, okay? I've got, and I always love this demonstration, upcycling. I love to upcycle, okay? So here we've got just what was the inside of a drinks can, right? So a little bit, just cut it up, and I'm going to bring out one of my regular die cuts. So we've got loads of these. I'm sure you've all got loads at home, those of you who are avid die cutters. And I'm going to die cut, let's have a look, will my slightly bigger one fit? Oh, I think it might just, you know, we'll get a slightly bigger piece. So I'm going to die cut that piece of aluminium can, but I'm going to do it with one of our regular thin metal dies. So this could be any one of the thousands of dies that you've probably got at home. I know a lot of you are big die hoarders. I'm exactly the same. So I've gone into that folder, and then the folder goes into the machine, and you turn the handle. So whoever was asking about how difficult is it to turn the handle, can we just appreciate I'm going backwards and forwards here, and it is super easy to do. So that was Karen, okay? There we go. So if I lift this right through, then that has even had the right amount of pressure needed to be able to die cut that piece of metal. Absolutely no problem. And then if you want to take that another step further, let's get our embossing folders, and we can go and emboss. Oh, I've got a lovely floral one here. I'm going to emboss our beautiful design here. So I'm going to pop that on there. I'm going to get those little bits of card again, just as a little bit more detail. Now, Kerry is asking about cutting our double-sided dies with these. Now, I haven't cut our double-sided dies with these, so you have to use special, when you're doing double-sided dies, you need to use special double-sided die plates. So that's the only thing I would say you want your big machine for, but it is absolutely, can you see, it absolutely performs the same as the rest of your Gemini in every other way, okay? So that's just showing you how we can do some 3D embossing, how we can do some upcycling with this, how we can work onto things like our wonderful leather. It works onto the leathers, no problem. And I mean, all of that with a manual machine. Whoever thought it would be possible to do that with a manual machine? In fact, none of us ever thought it would be possible. And the engineering that has gone into making this. Don't think about this as another manual machine. This is a manual Gemini machine. So Gemini raised the bar when it came to die cutting and being able to die cut something with that amount of pressure. To back engineer that into a manual machine has been no mean feat. Let me tell you, we've been on with this for years, but we've finally been able to develop the technology in the gearing to allow you to do that, and to boot, to be able to make it all work on a folder-based system so that it's so much easier. Now, all of that is going to be perfect, and we have got a winner to go with our Gemini Midi. I did say that we would be giving one of these away, so congratulations to Marie MacDonald, because Marie is the winner of our Gemini Midi. Now, don't worry, we've got other things that we can be giving away in the show, so if you're not Marie, don't worry, we're still going to be giving away some embossing folders, some metal dies, but Marie, huge congratulations on being our top winner for the day on our Gemini Midi. Now remember, if you're just joining us, you can just keep commenting along with us, and we will be picking winners as we go through this. But then also, don't forget that over on the Ranges Facebook page, we also have a couple of other very, very special giveaways. So as long as you pop over, I'm sure you all like the Range page anyway, which is what you're watching us on, but there is giveaways and all sorts goes on that page as well. So we've got some giveaways coming up on our page. So I'm going to pop my Gemini Midi to one side because we're going to get these put away, and I'm going to be using that for our next couple of demonstrations. We're going to be using our wonderful embossing folders, some of the dies that we have as well. So I'll pop these to one side whilst I get my next card out. But while I'm doing this, I want you to know, don't forget you can go and shop online. So anytime you're shopping online and you want to have a look, you just go and look for the arts and crafts section. And in the arts and crafts section, you'll see that section for Crafter's Companion. Once you're into the Crafter's Companion section, you can have a good browse through and see everything. I'm just doing a nice tidy up there. You have a browse through and see everything. And then, of course, this is when you're going to find us in store. So whether you like to shop online or in store, personally, I love the Range stores. They are one of my absolute favourite stores. We have a one not 5 minutes from our house, and I'm there all the time. And I love that, you know, they're essential retail, so I can go and get all of my essentials in there, and also have a little look down the arts and crafts aisle. And of course, when you're in your local store, you'll probably hear me booming out. I got a text message off one of my friends the other day. She said, I was in the Range, and then I heard your voice, and it totally freaked us out, Sarah. So you'll probably hear me in store telling you exactly where to go and have a look in the arts and crafts section. And basically, every month, we are having new deliveries. So we at Crafter's Companion, we launch new products every few weeks. So every month the Range are getting brand new deliveries of our new latest items, and a lot of them are only live for a couple of months, and then they go out to make way for the new things coming in. So trust me, every time you're going to be shopping, there's going to be something new in there from our company. And then there's all of our core products. So as you're looking around, you'll see the end of one of the aisles is all of our Spectrum Noir products. So all of our pens, our pencils, all of our colouring mediums are all on the end there. If you have a look down one of the aisles, you'll see a whole Crafter's Companion section. It's just new, being put into all of the stores. You'll be able to find that section and easily locate all of the products that you see us talking about. So all of our latest releases that month will all be available in your local store. And then also have a look around the arts and crafts sections for the cardboard units. So they're not in the shelves, they're the separate units. And you'll see them. You'll see my big face on the top of one of them where we've got all of our Sara signature collections. You'll see another one with our Spectrum Noir logo where it's got all the latest releases from our Spectrum Noir collection as well. So you'll be able to find them dotted around the arts and crafts section. So there's loads there, and it's always like a little, I always find it's like a little jungle when you go and have a look around. Now I'm really lucky mine's 5 minutes down the road. Mandy's saying hers is right across the street. I'm very jealous, Mandy. That would be a little bit too expensive for me. I think if that was me, I'd be there every day. Now, let's have a little look. I'm trying to decide which card I think we should do. Love this one here. Should we have a go? Should we do a nice simple card like this using one of our new embossing folders? Yep. So this is one of the new ones that we've got, and I want to show you how we can do that lovely three-dimensional effect. In fact, you know what? I might get 2 cards done. And so these are available. They're going to be launching in store. Have a little look at them. They're going to be launching in store in the next couple of weeks. Now, they're only $6.99 each. You've got the gossamer lace, you've got the grande butterfly in there, you've got that beautiful bouquet, and each one of these is a 3D folder. So it's dimensional at another level to what you'll be used to working with our embossing folders. And of course, they're all going to fit through your Gemini Midi. Now with this one here, what I've done is I've already created a bit of a watercolor background, just because you need to have these kind of dried, ready to work with. So what you do for these is I've just wet over the background of the paper, dropped a few splodges of our aqua inks on there, and then let them merge together and then let that dry. So it's really important, this needs to be completely dry before you do this technique with it, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the folder, and I'm going to have a little bit of a feel, and you can feel the negative of the folder is there, and then we've got the positive here as well. Now before I stick it through there, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to emboss this onto a piece of mirror card so that you can see really easily how you get the, let's have a look, I'll just cut this up to the right size here. I want you to be able to see the design so that you can have a good look at it. Oh, that should be fine. I'll be able to show you it on there. It's just for you to see the effect, and then you'll see it really well on the sheet. So can you see? Just pop that in. Don't need any other shims, okay? So your 3D embossing, this is the effect that you're going to get on there, right? Now, if you ever want to make your embossing a little bit deeper, watch this, you're going to add in an extra sheet of cards. So if I pop this one through here now, just cut this to the right size again. I'm going to put 2 sheets now of cardstock through there. So you'll feel it'll be a little bit harder to turn the handle. Still not that difficult. And you'll get an even deeper emboss by embossing 2 sheets. So can you see now? You've got that beautiful 3D embossing on there. Now Elaine's asking about the detail between, the difference between regular and 3D embossing. Now Elaine, can you have a little look down here on this bottom part here? And can you, in fact, you know what I'll do is I'll bring up, I've got these, we've done these lovely boards to show you. This might be easier for you to see because we've done a bit of embossing over the front. So let me get the butterfly, okay? So when we look at this one here, where I've put a little bit of ink on this, can you see in the bottom, some of those grasses look like they're in the background, and you've got this bit here that looks like it's in the foreground. Yeah? And then if I show you on this one here, can you see that that weave is in the background, but then we've got all of this embossing detail in the foreground. That's what 3D embossing is. It's all about having different layers. There's again, there's our beautiful big rose on there. It's all about having layers in the background and layers in the foreground. And then also, can you see how these look a little bit rounded? The petals there, actually, this actually looks 3-dimensional, this little bud. That is the difference between regular and 3D embossing. Regular embossing just gives you this, what you've got in the background. 3D embossing gives you like this 3D effect on the buds and on the petals and everything like that. So how do you make that come to life on your projects? Okay, now I've shown you how to do the embossing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take just that little bit of cardstock again, and I'm going to do it inside the folder. So I want that lovely embossing all over the base here, and I've got that extra sheet of card in just to give me a more detailed, pronounced emboss, okay? And then we go into here. No plates needed with your Gemini Midi. All we're doing is we're using it straight into the machine. Now, when you're using a non-3D folder, so what we call just a regular 2D folder, you won't need to, you're going to need to add in the extra shim, okay? But when we do 3D folders, they're a little bit thicker. You don't need to do anything else to them. Now, it's hard to see that there, right? But then watch what I'm going to do. I'm just going to bring in a little bit of one of my ink applicators. Let's have a little look here. There we go. And then I'm going to just bring in, I'm just going to get a nice coloured ink pad. So I've got my nice bright fuchsia here. And I'm going to just show you how we apply a little bit of ink, because at the moment you can't really see that design, okay? So we'll go onto the base. I'm picking up that ink onto here. Always dabbing it off on the glass mat, and then watch what happens when I give this little bit of a rub over there. Can you see it coming to life? Now, we had a lovely question from Diana, and she was asking, can you use other people's, other brands of dies and embossing folders in the Gemini Midi? Absolutely. We all play nicely together. So in the same way that with all your other Gemini machines, you can use all those different brands of dies and embossing folders in the Gemini machines. It's exactly the same with the Gemini Midi. To be honest, if you have a question to ask and you know the answer to that question in relation to the Gemini, so you know what the Gemini would do, then trust me when I tell you the Gemini Midi performs just the same as all of your other Gemini machines. Okay, so there we go. So I've built up that multiple layers of ink, and you can really see that butterfly beautifully now. Okay, don't forget what I told you. Always keep your work surface clean, give it a little bit of a wipe as we're going. Now all I'm going to do with that is I'm going to mat and layer. So I've cut some layers of cardstock onto here, so we're going to mat that onto a little bit of black. And when you're doing your matting and layering, you want your straight tape pens. Okay, so you can watch me mat and layer this whole card up, and I can take any other questions from you guys at the same time. All right, now don't forget I'm going to be giving away these embossing folders that we're using. So if you want to win these embossing folders, you still have chance. All you need to do is keep commenting, and I'm going to choose a winner at the end of this demonstration, okay? Now, Marion is asking, are these ink applicators foam or brush? Now, our ink applicators that I'm using here, they are foam, but if you prefer to use a brush one, you are more than welcome to use a brush one. A brush one works in just the same way. Now, Therese says, I need some gilding wax in my life. We all need some gilding wax in our life. What two colours would everyone suggest? Now, do you know what? Should we put a little bit of gilding wax on this? Let's answer Therese's question on this. Now, my favourite colour is our rose goldy shade, right? Which is called King Gold, which is this one here. And I always recommend have a gold shade and then a silver, because then you've got both. So I'm going to put a little bit of the King Gold over the base of the what you call these, like dandelion head clocks, right? I'm going to use a little bit of King Gold over the dandelion clocks, and then I'm also going to use a bit of silver over the butterfly. So I would say if you're only going to go for two gilding waxes, go for a gold and a silver. So there's my gold on there. Like I said, King Gold is my favourite shade of the golds. And then for silver, I'm picking up the silver, and I'm just going to pick that up on the butterfly here like this. So there's a little bit of my silver going through. Yep. Now Michelle says she loves embossing but's not sure how to use powders in a heat gun. Well, that type of embossing, Michelle, is different to this embossing. That's heat embossing. We're doing dry embossing here, which is a completely different look and feel, but we can absolutely explore maybe doing a tutorial on heat embossing on the Facebook page one day. We can absolutely take you through all those different techniques and tutorials. But remember, at any point, if you go and have a look over on the Crafters Companion YouTube page, you'll be able to find tutorials for things like heat embossing on there as well. Right, here we go. So I've just been doing all of my matting and layering here, and just bringing all of that up together, right? And then I'm going to put this now. Oh, actually, before I stick that, she says, yes, I've got just a little bit of time before it sticks down, right? Oh, I did have some. Let's have a look. I've got some lovely, just some little bits of ribbon to go around the bottom of here. Okay, so I'm just going to take a couple of little bits under the bottom of here. So there's one, and then the next one here. Now Elaine says my gilding wax is dried. Can I revitalize it? Now Elaine, I'm going to guess it wasn't the Pebeo gilding wax, because the Pebeo gilding wax is the nature of the wax. They don't dry out. So other waxes, a water-based wax could dry out, but the Pebeo ones are not water-based. So you'll find if you get the Pebeo ones, they won't dry out. So talking of which, I'm going to just get tied up a little bit there. Now Karen's asking, what is gilding wax? And again, if you go and have a look at some of the tutorials, you'll see we do whole tutorial sections on the gilding waxes that we have as well. So look, too much to get into today. I've had to be really good to just choose a couple of products to focus on. We've got loads more still to do in the show, but yes, you go and have a look over on YouTube, and you'll see loads of the other products that we have. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm just popping all of just some foam pads around the outside. So I want this to be raised up, but I want this to be raised up the same all the way around here. Okay. Now, Sue is asking, can you put the ink on the inside of the folder like she's seen me do with the larger Gemini? Absolutely, Sue, we totally can. That is called a letterpress technique. I was going to try and do a letterpress technique, but I think I'll be running out of time today because I've got so much more to show you. We're going to do a little bit of die cutting after this. But yes, all of the techniques that you've seen us do with all of the other Gemini machines, you can do exactly the same with the Gemini Midi. So here we go. So don't forget, after I finish this demo, we're going to be giving away the embossing folders. So last few minutes to get all of your comments in there. So I've got this raised up section here, and then I'm just going to add the little thank you on the bottom. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just squirt a few little bits on here. Now Marissa's asking, do embossing folders come in different sizes? Yes, they do. So these new ones that we're just launching are the 5x7 ones. But then we have a lot of other ones in store at all different sizes. If you go and have yourself a look, and anything up to 5x7 will absolutely fit in your Gemini Midi. So there we go. So we're going to be announcing the winner next for that one. And then I'm going to be doing, you saw some of these cards change over here, we're going to be doing some of this die cutting next as well, and we're going to be giving that away. So the winner of the embossing folders, and I'll show you, it was all three, remember? So that lovely peony bouquet, the grande butterfly, and the gossamer lace. So the three brand new designs that are going to be launching in store this week. And they've been won by Julie Oliver. So huge congratulations, Julie. You've done absolutely brilliantly picking those up. We've still got one more chance to win in the show. We're going to be doing the die cuts next. So yes, so congratulations to Julie. Now, I did say that these were going to be launching in store. So you're going to be getting these in store this week. This is a lot of what I'm doing today is the brand new collections that are set. It's called setting in store. So the ones that arrive and get set on the shelves in store this week. Now, if you've never shopped at the range before, you're watching this because you're a Crafters Companion fan, you've seen that I'm doing this live today and you want to know how to find your local store, then all you're going to need to do is pop onto the website, and you'll see on the website there is at the top there in the middle, all of our stores are open, takes you to the store finder. So once you're in there, you then type in where are you at. So we're in Newton Aycliffe. So I type Newton Aycliffe and it immediately jumps to where I am and then shows me I've got Hartlepool, Middlesbrough, Darlington, Durham and Sunderland are all near us, tells me where my local stores are, how far away they are, and if I click on it, it'll show me exactly where they are and how to find them. Then if you're on therange.com, if you're going to the website, so you don't want to go to your local store at the moment, then all you need to do is at the range, you're going to type in the range/arts and crafts, and then you're going to have a look through. It's going to take you to the arts and crafts page, and you'll see the Crafters Companion down the side, and you can follow. Oh, I'm back there. You can follow that right through, which gave me a lovely 30 seconds then to get my table all wiped down, ready for the next demonstration, because the next thing we're going to be doing is some die cutting, because we've got some brand new dies are just setting in store this week, and these are them. Now, if I just show you the brand new dies that we've got coming in, it's these here. So we've got three of them. It's Your Birthday, Let's Party, and also Just For You. Now they're all $7.99, which is a brilliant price for the size of the dies and what you're getting. And if I just show you how they all work, okay? So with the Just For You, can you see all these individual dies cut out the outside, then the next bit, they cut out the just, the for, and the you, and the little bow. And when you layer up everything on top, this is what you're going to get. So this is the one that I'm going to be doing, okay? But then it's also the same with the Let's Party. You get the shadow one, the letters that you need, and also all of the accessory balloons. And then finally, It's Your Birthday. I think these make fabulous tags as well, because you've got that base piece and everything layers up on top of it. I mean, this is one simple die cut just to layer up straight over the top. So it just shows you how nice and easy they are to create, okay? So what I'm going to do is we're going to use the Just For You one, and I'm going to get out the dies for my Just For You die. I've just put it up here. So I'll get my Just For You die out, and then you'll see we're going to use this with our larger Gemini. So here we go. So there's all of the individual pieces that we're going to need to work with, right? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring all of the bits of card in that we're going to want to work with. So I'm going to want some red. Let's have a little look. I'm going to have some red for this piece here. I'm going to use a little bit of yellow for when we're doing the bow and the little pieces that come on with the bow. So I'm going to use that there. And then I've got my outer piece I'm going to do in a little bit of the white as well. So you can just layer up. Basically, you're getting all of your different pieces in the different colours. Now, I've got a great tip for you guys who are going for the midi, right? So any of you who are going for the midi today, but either also have the Gemini Mini or are shopping for the Gemini Midi in store, then your Gemini Mini folders are all going to fit through your Gemini Midi. So let's have a little look. Will this one fit into that folder? Just about. So watch this. Now bear in mind the Midi is going to be in store from the 25th. Your Gemini Mini and these little folders are all in store now. So watch this. Your Gemini Midi, this can go straight through your Midi. So quick, so convenient, even with the smaller plates. So look at this. There's my lovely base. Then I'm going to take, this is why people use a manual die cutting machine, by the way, because it's so quick and convenient. We're going to do the bow, and we're going to do some of these little strips. So I'm just popping this together. And while I'm doing all of this die cutting, it'd be a great time for me to take another few questions. So Bev was asking, when doing the matting and layering, what do you use to get the perfect sizing? Now Bev, we have a huge range in store of our nesting dies. So if you're not confident with your matting and layering, I would definitely recommend looking. So something like this, for example, these are the nesting dies. You can have a little look and you can find the nesting dies in store. They will cut all of your perfect mats and layers. Now we do even do ones with the straight edges so that you can do all of your straight edge matting and layering straight through there. Now Michael is asking about our pens. Are all of our pens refillable? Yes, they are indeed. So all of the Spectrum Noir Classiques that we've been using today, they are all refillable. So you find, we don't stock the refills in store, but you can go online, not on the range, you can go you can come to us at Crafter's Companion if you need to pick up any of the refills for those. Okay. Now, Holger says, if you don't use all the glue in the syringe, can you put it back into the tube? Talking about our 3D glue gel. Right, let me just show you. You get in there the little caps like this. So as long as you put the lid back on the cap, you don't need to worry. You can keep it in the syringe. So even if you've got this, so here's the one I've been using, I've only got a tiny little bit left in there, I still keep it in the syringe until I'm ready to use it or refill it back up again. So I don't transfer it backwards and forwards. I hope that helps. And then Sarah's asking, what's this lovely glass mat workboard that I'm working on? That is our Crafter's Companion glass mat, which is perfect for all of your inking techniques on. So let's have a look. I've done my just for you there. And then can you see I'm cutting out all these individual little pieces and I'm just keeping all of these, okay? Now, we've got a newbie. Sarah's asking, how do you stop your dies from moving when they're in the machine? Now, notice what I've done here is I've used the smallest size plate that I could do. However, quite often what I do is I tape my dies down. So I use a little bit of our low-tack tape them down as they're running through the machine. Okay? Right, have a little look. I think we're ready to start and kind of put this all together. So watch what we do. We get this base one here. And then what I've done is I've done versions of all my bits and I've put sticky on the back of all of them so that I can easily assemble this together to show you how everything goes together. So you start with the base and then you put your little present on there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put our outside pieces. So when we've got the little strips that we did, you're going to have one little strip just comes across here like this. And you see, and then another one comes down like this. And then the bow itself, I always worry that people don't understand this when I say bow. Bow, can you see that goes into there? And also it fits in with all of this little bit of stripping. Now I'm looking at that and I'm thinking actually I would have been a bit happier if that one underneath was a little bit higher. So I can just lift it off and I can just pop that a little bit further underneath like that. There we go. Now, Lynn's asking, can you use the MIDI is that for embossing? So absolutely you can use your, do all of your die cutting and embossing. If you go back and watch the tutorial, I'm guessing you must have just joined a little bit late. Go back and watch the tutorial. You'll see how I've done all of that while we've been live on the show. Right. Now Marion's asking, some of her stamps are no longer sticky with the they're not sticking to the platform, so how can she stick them on? Brilliant question, Marion. What you're going to need to do is you're going to need to use one of our repositionable sprays. So for example, we do a repositionable glue spray, our stick and spray. It's available in store. I will show you it here, Marion. This is it here. So if you go and have a look in store for this, it's on the bottom shelf. I don't know what aisle number it's down, but it's always on the bottom shelf when I go and look for it in store. So if you go and have a little look in store, you'll find that, and you'll see that that will re-energize all of your stamps. There we go. Right. So we've got just 4, and then I'm going to go with my U. I'm working from the end here. So can you see I can make sure I fit it into this little gap? And so I find it's always good to kind of work outside in when you're doing your little individual letters. So there we go, just for you. And then I've got a couple of nice little hearts that we can put on here. Now Dawn's asking how I store all of my dies. Dawn, we have loads of fantastic die storage. We do a brand called Totally Tiffany. So if you have a little look at our Totally Tiffany products, you will see loads of different storage options. We also do a nice binder that we have that you can use to store all of your dies in our binder as well. So hopefully that answers that. Now, let's get this card put together, okay? So what I've got is, I've just got a very basic card. I've just gone nice and simple. And can you see, I've done a little bit of die cutting. This here, where you use your base cardstock to die cut out of, and then still use it for your matting and layering, that's called gutting your card. So what I did is I gutted the card to then cut out the little 3-dimensional piece that goes on the top. All right, so we're just bringing all of that together, and that's going to go in the middle there. Okay, and then on here I'm going to layer that up on there, and I want it to look 3D, so I'm going to use my syringe. Now every time you buy one of our 3D glue gels, it comes in the kit with the syringe. So you'll end up like me with loads and loads of these syringes. So you'll find you definitely won't use one syringe for every kind of new thing of glue that you've got. So they'll definitely come in handy with a few more. So Cassie's also asking, what is my favourite thing that I like to make in the Gemini machine? Well, I think that's a good question. I definitely love my die cutting, but I've been doing loads of embossing recently as well, with a lot of the beautiful 3D embossing folders that we've got in here. So here we go. So just a few little hearts dotting around the place here as well. There we go. So can you see, beautiful, nice, simple card. I'll show you that to the front there. Just shows you how nice and simple we can get with those. Beautiful. Right, I'm ready for a mouthful of me cold tea now, which means that it's time to give away a winner who've won the stamps that we've been using. So this is really cold tea now. Right, so our winner for the stamps, and remember, there were the 3 stamp sets. So there's the It's Your Birthday, the Let's Party, and also the Just For You on there. So the winner of all 3 of those is Gemma Wilson. So huge congratulations, Gemma. I'm absolutely thrilled for you. We'll be getting these. By the way, all of you winners, all we need you to do, because if you've won something, you'll probably be thinking, well, how do I claim my prize? How do I claim my prize? So all 3 of you today, we just need you to email. So for example, Gemma Wilson would just email prizes@crafterscompanion.co.uk and say, I'm Gemma Wilson, and I just won in the range Facebook Live the amazing sets of dies that Sara was demonstrating. So we'll then be able to email, because we'll send these directly out from Crafters Companion HQ. So Gemma, just make sure that you go on in your email, and also our previous 2 winners as well. You just need to email prizes@crafterscompanion.com, prizes@crafterscompanion.com, and that will come straight through to our team here, and we'll be able to get that set. Now, there's another giveaway. If you haven't won one of our giveaways, don't worry, you still have chance to win, okay? So that's all the giveaways that we're giving away in the show. However, cast your mind back to an hour and a half ago when I started, and I was using the amazing Woodland collection. Now we are giving away a full set of the Woodland Friends over on the Range Facebook page. So not here in the show, but on the Facebook page. So as soon as you've finished, as soon as we finish this live demonstration, we've got another demonstration to go still, but as soon as we finish that, you can head on over, look down through the rest of the timeline here, and you'll see that picture and your chance to enter the competition to win all of that as well. Okay, so we've got loads there. Now I'm going to let you have a little look around the Range store while I get everything cleared down, get ready for the next demo. Right, so next coming up is some more colouring techniques with our fabrics. Now, why don't I put these on the overhead camera so that you can have a good look up close for them. Okay, and actually we'll be able to show you all of the pictures. We've got a nice, like, up close here. Now, you'll see there's 4 stamps plus an extra one up the top there. So that extra one up the top that you're seeing is actually an extra exclusive, which is only available in the Range. So if you want to have a little look in the Range, you will see the 4 here that I'm going to be using and that bonus extra exclusive one. This is our exclusive one here as well. Packaging looks a little bit different here, just so that you can see. So these are all of the stamps that we have. Now they're gorgeous, cute little dragon stamps. Fantastically talented artist. And what we're going to be doing is, I don't know where I've put my, here we go. I'm going to get, this is the card that we're going to be doing here. And I'm going to be teaching you, we're going to be doing some watercolour techniques using our aqua pens. Now, we had a question earlier on in the show about aqua pens and how to colour with the aqua pens. So I'm pleased that we get a chance to come and look at both mediums, because it's a very, very different technique to alcohol pen colouring. So we're going to do water-based colouring now. All of the pens, all of our Spectrum Noir Aqua and also all of our Spectrum Noir alcohol pens, in fact all of our pens are all available in store, and it sounds ridiculous, don't go and buy them. Don't go and buy them today, wait until the 19th, okay? Because from the 19th is when all of the Range Black Friday deals start, and our Spectrum Noir has got 30% off. When you go and have a look on selected Spectrum Noir lines in store and on the web, you'll be able to get 30% off. So wait till you go and have a little look on the Black Friday event, and you'll see all the awesome deals that we've got coming up on there, okay? So let's do a little bit of watercolouring. So I'm going to be using this one here, You Are My Sunshine, okay? And then when I open this up, I'm going to take this stamp. Now all of the stamps are what's called photopolymer. Now I just want to explain to you about different stamps and different types of colouring mediums and whatnot, okay? So when we talk about stamps, there are different ways you can have stamps. There are the ones that come on the rubber, that are on the wood mounts. Those are like your traditional types of stamps. And then there are the clear ones, which are acrylic. So those people like to be able to see through them. They also take a lot less space to store. Now, back in the day, there was only the choice between rubber stamps or acrylic stamps. And for a lot of detailed designs like these ones here, people actually want, and I've got loads of, we'll look at loads of samples at the end as well, people want to be able to get the real crisp detail that you would only ever have traditionally been able to get in a rubber stamp. Then they invented photopolymer stamps. So photopolymer stamps perform like a rubber stamp, but they have the see-through and the low, not much space to store, all the qualities of an acrylic stamp. So photopolymer, you'll see them, they look a little bit more cloudy than a regular acrylic stamp, but you'll see you get a nice crisp image. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take this, should we stamp with our stamping platform as well? So whoever was asking about this, these are all of our core products that are available on the website, okay? So with all of our, now Mandy was asking earlier about if she's got stamps and they've lost their stick, how do I get them to stick to here? And I said you're going to want to use your stick. Oh, I'm throwing it all over. You're going to want to use your stick and spray, Mandy, okay? So what you're going to do is I use like a piece of scrap paper, give it a good spray over, and that'll then make it a little bit tacky. Now, she's asking now, do you just spray it once or do you have to spray it every time you use it? Depends on how you then store it. So after you've used it, if you then take it and put it back onto an acrylic sheet, it'll keep its stick. It will, after a few uses, the stick will start to dry out. But if you're basically storing them like this, brilliant. If you just throw them in a pile, then they're going to lose all of their stick. So it just depends. I personally just do throw mine in a pile, if I'm being really honest. But I think it's brilliant to know that you can actually do all of that. You can just revive them really, really easily. Now let's have a little look. I want to find you. I'm just going to get a piece of, here we go. I'm just going to get a piece of watercolor card and I'm going to hold it in place in the middle here. Now can you see? You pop this down and we hold it in place at all four corners. Oh, there's our magnet. Pull the top of the magnet there. So you've all four corners, you're holding that down there. And then you decide where you want your stamp to stamp in the middle. And that's like that. And then you can come, pick up your stamp. And then once you've picked it up, you're going to apply the correct ink pad. Now, remember, this is the ink pad that I used earlier today. And that was our alcohol proof. And I did tell you when we came to do our water-based stamping, we're going to use the waterproof die instead. So you can see there, those are the two different types. One's got the alcohol pen on, one's got the water-based. We're going to use the water-based. It's not water-based, it's water-resistant, okay? So Cassie's asking what my favourite stamp is in the collection. I couldn't possibly have favourite. That's asking me to choose my favourite child, that Cassie. Absolutely no chance, all right? So here we go. I'm going to stamp this in the middle here. There we go. And then I'm going to, oh, look, I've missed a little bit. Missed a little bit. Brilliant. Did that on purpose, guys. I can't remember whether it was this side or that side, but I want to show you how if you do miss a bit, you can come back and do you know what? I'm going to actually give my dragon a little bit more beefing up. So I'm going to give him a little bit more ink on there. Because we've used the stamping platform, means we're able to position. I can go straight back in there and add another layer of ink on top and know that it will be all perfectly aligned. And that is the difference. You've got that beautiful detailed image there that we're going to be able to colour with. So, looks like an illustration, doesn't it? Like from a children's book or something. So I'm going to colour with this, and actually I'm going to take this off here and just use it on my baseboard here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of my lovely aqua pens, and we're going to do a little bit of aqua pen colouring. And I'm going to blend them using one of our clear sparkle pens. So I have, we have the clear sparkle pen in the range. We have it in the range. So that's how you can go. So you can go and have a little look and you'll see we do a set of 3 clear sparkles and they're brilliant for doing all of your watercolouring with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be picking this up and I'm going to just be dropping a little bit so we know that we've got that all moving perfectly. Okay. Now let's have a look. I'm going to do a nice two-tone of a little bit of pink into orange. So I'm going to find, and always I would say have a nice little piece of scrap paper so that you can practice your colours. So that one there is scarlet, quite like that. Or let's have a look. This one's crimson, a little bit more. Let's have a look. It's a little bit more vintage, I would say. That's a little bit brighter. That one's there's my blossom. Let's have a little look. Let's try a little bit of tulip just until we get the right shade that we want. Oh, I love a bit. That tulip's nice. Might use a bit of tulip on there. And then if you wanted to maybe add another little bit of shade in, here's a little bit of purple. We could have add a little tinge of purple in if we want to. So I'm going to go tulip, maybe into a little bit of blossom and some purple, and then blending into the orange. Let's have a look. Do we think amber's going to work beautifully? Lovely bit of amber. So I'm going to go tulip into the orange, okay? So here we go. I'm going to go on here and I'm going to bring in a little bit of that tulip. Can you see coming straight down from the top here of the image? I'll just do half of it at once, then you can see it blending. Then I'm going to come up with the amber from the bottom and I'm going to be bringing my amber right up there. All right. So I've got my shades and colours underneath. We'll probably put a little bit more tulip under there. And you can see you've got that lovely pointy Japanese brush nib. And coming into there, oh, that was the blossom, wasn't it? If you want to go with the tulip. Or actually underneath, we could go a little bit darker. So that's when we'd maybe bring a little bit of our scarlet in there for a little bit of depth of colour, a little bit darker in the edge there. So once we've got all of our colour down, that's when you're then going to come in and you're going to blend this out. So can you see? And then I'm going to blend this up from the amber, and we get that lovely ombre going on in the middle where the two have blended together. Can you see that there? So this is the beauty of watercolour. It's giving you that perfect blend from one straight up into the other. So even though that was white in the middle to start with, we haven't got any of that white anymore because we've got that lovely blend. And you see that again? I'll do that again with the other side. So we used the tulip and we came down the top from the tulip, and then we used the amber and we came up the base from the amber there. So just a little bit into there. And then once you've got that shading in, that's when you're going to come on. We did do dotted a little bit of, was it scarlet? Yeah, a little bit of scarlet just down the top to give it another bit of shade in there. And then because it's watercolour, you're just literally blending across the middle. So this is that water-based pen, the water-based ink that we're using. But look how easy just to blend those lovely colours in together. So that's our lovely daisy. I think that's a lovely place to start. Should we do the same with our little dragon? Now, to me, dragons are always green, but we have a lot of different shades of green. So let's have a look. This one here is bud green. He looks quite dragony. This one here is meadow. Oh, it's a little bit of a different shade. Should we try blending the two? So watch what you're going to do. You're going to come down the end here. We're going to follow right. So this is in the middle. We're going to have this shade in here and then round there a little bit, and then we're going to come in with our slightly darker shade down the tip, and you can see how the two would blend together perfectly. And then you're going to use the pen again and we're going to be blending them straight in. Now Julie is asking when these stamps are going to be available to buy. Julie, these are in store now, so they've just arrived. Well, it's Monday now, isn't it? They were on this week's deliveries. So you go and have a look in store and you will find these beautiful stamps. Maybe give it, to be on the safe side, we'll maybe give it till tomorrow to make sure they all get in there. But they're all available in there nice, and they're beautiful stamps, Julie. So Therese is asking, can you use the flicking, and you do the flicking technique that I've taught in the past with watercolour pens? Now, yes, it's just a little bit, that flicking technique, if you talk about the one I was teaching last week, Julie, it is quite specific to our alcohol markers. There we go. It's quite specific to the alcohol brush markers. So it's the type of nib that you need to be able to do that technique, and that's what we've developed on the tri-blend. It was the tri-blends we were using for that, wasn't it? Right, there we go. So if I'm just bringing that all in, I'm just getting that lovely little watercolour effect in there and taking it right through to his nose as well. So you see we've got that lovely little green dragon and he's just drying nicely. And then for his tummy, I'm going to do his tummy, that lovely amber shade to match in with the ties it together with the dandelion leaf that we've had at the top there. And so again, I'm going to blend the two together. And then because obviously they're not going to blend together of their own accord, you're going to use that lovely blend in there and get that lovely shading. Now, can you see I've just had a little bit of a bleed out there to my leaf, but it's all right, because what we're going to do is you can actually go and pick up some colour. We've got a little bit of colour like this. If I just want to add a little bit of colour onto that and pick up colour from elsewhere, it's always going to be a little bit more washed out, but it still looks nice, doesn't it? I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm going to just bring a little bit more down here. Now, Jennifer's asking what type of weight of card is best for stamping and water-based colouring. Now, we do a lovely watercolour cardstock in our collection. I would highly recommend that. You know, we've developed that specifically for your stamping techniques. So I know with confidence that that is going to work perfectly for you to do all of your stamping onto there, right? And I'm just building all of that up. There we go, I'm popping that down. Now, Cassie's asking if the aqua pens also come in nice blending sets. They do. Everything we develop, this kind of method to our madness, this purpose to all of this. So just go and have a little look in the range, and you'll see all of the collections as we've put them together. Now notice what I'm doing here. I'm using the finer ends. So whereas we've been using the big wide brush nib up to now, I'm coming to use the little fine end because the nib is very, very fine. So when we're wanting to do things like on the dragon scales here, look how easy it is to get right into that edge with the tiny little, very, very fine nib piece. So that's when you're going to use your little fine nibs. So things like the tips of the dragon scales here, I'm going to use them in the orange for the little horns that we have on there. So it's still exactly the same ink, but you're able to do them. You're able to get in there. Let's have a look. Any other horns? No, but I can use the little tail on here. And again, where we're getting into tiny little areas like this, you can just, if you want a really detailed blend, you can absolutely do a little detailed blend in there. All right. So, oh, I've just missed the top bit. Let's have a little bit of nice little bit of gold on the top, I think. So again, coming round there with it. Now you can just colour straight on there if you want. Can you see it just looks nice coloured straight on there? Same, I'm going to do the little ladybird on the top here. So I'm just going to leave the, there we go, a little bit of burgundy on there. Leave his spots white and straight around there. Now, if you want a little bit of, actually I'm going to go with a little bit of scarlet, a slightly brighter red on there. Yeah, give out a little bit, ladybird, bit more redness. Oh, I've got a little horn up here to do. And then once we've done the little horn, there we go. Perfect. I think he is ready. We're ready to give him a bit of a watercolour effect, okay? So to give him a little bit of grounding, I want to give him like a little bit of a glow of blue. So watch this, we've got different shades of blue, okay? We've got, let me show you these down here. This one here is our nice pale aquamarine. If you want to come a little bit more, a little bit deeper, look at this. This is like our peacock blue. I'm going to use the aquamarine, but then potentially bring in a little bit of peacock blue. And watch what we do. We take the pen off the side onto like a glass mat or a ceramic tile or anything like this. I'm just getting loads and loads of the ink down, okay? Then what we do is just make sure that you've got no other ink in your water brush. So we're now nice and clear, just got the sparkle pen there. I'm going to pick up a little bit of ink and I'm going to do a little glow around here. So can you see I'm picking the ink up and we're just creating this glow around the piece. Now be careful, you either want to make sure that your image is very, very dry or be very careful not to kind of not to mix the colours, because it would be very, very easy to drag in a little bit of that green from your dragon, for example, and you don't want to be doing that. All right, so I'm just going around that, and can you see I'm just now watercolouring it out to the edge, so you've got that bit of a glow. I'm going to do the same again here. I'm going to come right round the edge, so I'm picking up plenty of colour and I'm going to be bringing this right round here and picking all of that up, okay? And then this is coming right down the edge here. Now this is where you've got to be really, really careful not to pick up any of the ink in there, right? So I'm just going right into the middle with all of the blue. There we go. Now I'm looking at this and thinking, right, I can add a little bit more blue around here now, and then we'll fade out a little bit further. There we go. And then we're just going to blend that right out. And you see, there we go. So I've just got that like, it's that watercolory feel that everybody's after. That is how you do that tint like that. Now don't forget, our Spectrum Noir Classiques are going to be on offer in the range for Black Friday. So if you are wanting to pick up our Classique pens, the ones that I was using earlier today, they are going to be on offer for Black Friday, and the offers for Black Friday will be going live from the 19th, right? So here we go, just getting that sort of feel. Now Maria's asking, will the markers dry out if you leave the lids off? Absolutely they will, yes. So please don't do that. It's all right for me doing this a little bit here because I'm only using it for a tiny amount of time. But yes, you definitely don't want to be doing that. Now I'm going to give him a little bit of ground to be sitting on here. So I'm just coming around, use a different shade of green again, and I'm just bringing this right underneath. Now I'm going to go green, and then also mix in a little bit of brown, because obviously it's the ground. So you can essentially, because it's watercolor, you can be creating all of your own new colors here. And then I'm going to get that moving, just so that you don't get that kind of harsh line underneath. Okay, so just on there, just blending all of that in absolutely perfectly, so that he looks like he's actually sitting on a little bit of the ground. And you see, it just really does. Now it looks like it's a nice children's illustration now, this, doesn't it? And that's the sort of look that we were after. Okay, so that's our nice, oh, gone out the lines a little bit there, nobody's ever going to know. Right, so got that looking perfect. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to give that a little second to dry, and we're going to pop that onto the front of our card. Okay, so while we're just letting that dry, it's just an opportunity, and it will only take a minute, I promise. Okay, and then we're going to make that into a lovely card. Just an opportunity for me to remind you kind of why we're here today, and where you can see more sort of education like this. Okay, so my name's Sara Davies, and I'm from a company called Crafters Companion, and we have been partners with the range, and I'll show you around one of their stores as we're talking. I've been partners with the range now for coming up to 15 years. So in store you'll find the arts and crafts department, and they are filled with so many amazing products from loads and loads of different companies. Now, if you have a look within that section, you will find the Crafters Companion section. So it's a big Crafters Companion header board like this, and they're just being installed into all stores at the moment. So if you have a little look around there, you will find all of our products. Now, if you don't want to go out to your local store, or if you don't know where your local store is, let me show you how to find a store near you. So on the website, you'll see right in the middle is all of our stores are open. Find your nearest store. So you can have a little look on the map, or what you can do is type in where you're at. So we're in Newton Aycliffe here at Crafters HQ. So when I do that, it shows me Newton Aycliffe, and it tells me my closest one is Darlington, 7.39 miles, or I've got Durham there, Stockton, Hartlepool, Sunderland. Once you click on any one of those, it will show you exactly where it is. Or you can go on .com, so the range.com /arts and crafts. You can go down the left hand side, find where it says Crafters Companion, and then within there you can see all of the different Crafters Companion products in different categories, so you can find our products. And there are 187 of our lines listed with the range that you can find in store, or you can find on the website. And the great thing is, maybe you're out doing your Christmas shopping, or maybe you're out picking up your essential bits and pieces. Because the range is classed as essential retail, the stores have been able to stay open all the way through lockdown, which means that as long as you're being sensible, you're keeping to social distancing, you're wearing your mask in store, you can go and have a look around not only the essential foodstuffs, but also you can have a little look around the arts and crafts aisle. So whether it is you're stocking up on all of your craft materials, or you're in there buying your Christmas decorations and having a little look while we're there, everything is there and available. Now, every week they're taking deliveries of our items, and every month we have brand new items, what's called setting in store, so arriving in store and getting a home. And a lot of those items will only be in store for a couple of months. We have all of our core product, so the things like our Gemini Midi, that once it's in there, it's going to be staying in there, like the sprays that one of you was asking about earlier. You can go in there and find everything you need. But then we also have our, fashion items. So for example, the latest release is these beautiful dragon stamps that we're working with today. You'll be able to find those gorgeous stamps in store. They're in store at the moment. They will be from now up till Christmas, and then in the new year, they'll come out and something else new will go in. So make sure every time you're in store having a look around, you go and see what we've got new in there. Now, that should have given me enough time for this to all settle in. Let me just get the rest of my stuff here. And what I've got is, I'm just going to trim this down. I've actually got one. I like this one a little bit better. Let me just measure what I've cut this one to. So 3.5 by 3 3/4 inches. And if I get my guillotine out here, I'm going to go, I think it was 3 3/4 inches tall. So I'm coming to 3 3/4 here. And I think, oh no, we're going to lose a little bit too much on there. So I think we'll come down to you here. And then 3 3/4 is how high I wanted it. Oh dear me, you're pushing us to squeeze you on there. 3 3/4, there we go. All right, And then what did I say it was wide? By 3 inches wide, I think I said it was. So if we trim you to there, and then we trim you to about 3 inches. Nope, got too much going on here. Let me just have a little measure of that again. 3.5. Oh, perfect. 3.5. So that should layer up on the nice mat that I got ready. Yeah, I'll take a little fly's eyelash off the end there. All right. And that's going to go. Look, I'd already got one coloured in ready, but we'll use the one that I've just done that lovely colouring for. So that's going to go on the base there. And I'm just going to use some, my tape pen. Here we go. Let me just do a little bit of work on there. So the tape. So we've also learned, remember, that that's good for wrapping presents over the course of this show. And then that is going to go onto the front here. So there is our lovely little dragon design going on the front. And then I was just keeping the card really nice and simple. So what you find is if you've done some gorgeous colouring like that, you really don't need to do an awful lot to the rest of the card. So there we go, that's going to go on there. I'm going to pop this down here and then add this, just a note on the corner like that. So this will come on the bottom here. Now there's been loads and loads of other questions, and I just haven't been able to answer all of them over the course of the show. So just remember, our social media goddesses are online at the moment, and they are able to answer a lot of the questions that maybe I haven't seen. I'll also have a little look through all of the questions that have been asked. I'll have a cup of tea, and over my lunch I'll make sure I go back through, and if there's any questions that I didn't get chance to answer live on the show, I will go and do a little bit chatting. And oh my word, look at the special card I've made. Look at this special upside down Australian card that I've made there. Do you know, we've still got time. Let's have a look. I'll just turn this round like this, and it can go just not quite as exact, because you've got 15 minutes, of course. There we go. Not quite how I intended the card to look, but I'm quite happy with that. And actually, bear in mind, we've got quite a lot done in these couple of hours. We've done our dragon colouring. We did our nice stamping just for you on them. We learned how to do that. We did all those embossing techniques. So like we embossed onto the leather. We did the upcycling of the tin can. We did the detail embossing. We also did that lovely embossing where we did the 3D embossing technique. And I showed everybody how to apply the gilding wax, and we did that sort of effect on there as well. And then if I take you right back to the start of the show, which feels like an eternity ago now, we used that gorgeous new Woodland, which is arriving in store this week. And you're going to be able to go in and get all your Woodland. We've got all those gorgeous little stamps. We've got the little animals. We've got the embossing folders. I didn't even get a chance to show you. We've got a lovely big 12 by 12 pad with some lovely patterned papers. Do you want me to still show you? Still got time to show you. We'll have a little look. We'll go back. I'll show you the little picture of everything in that Woodland collection, because we've got loads of it. But the 12 by 12 pad, in fact, have a little look at the picture first, because the picture looks brilliant for you to see everything. So you can see we've got like edgeable dies, we've got some beautiful word dies in there, we've got the most gorgeous papers, which I'm about to show you. We've also got the die and stamp sets that we've got. There's the embossing folder that I used, did that lovely background technique for you as well. So there really is loads and loads to the collection. And the brilliant thing is you can just pick and mix and have a little look through and see exactly what it is. I mean, I wish I'd had a chance to do more of those cardstock 3D. Toppers are lovely, the edgeables are lovely, but you can literally go and cherry pick the bits that you like. Now, have a little look at you. This is the paper pad. This is the one that you absolutely want to be making sure you don't miss out on. The paper pads are always the first things to go in the range. $12.99 to pick up the paper. It's a 48 sheet paper pad. Really neutral it'll do for your feminine and your masculine cards on there as well. Really beautiful designs. This could be I think it's one of my favourites that we've done so far. So that is all available in store now. Don't forget as well, you can go over to the Range Facebook page. So as soon as we finish here, you could be winning this whole collection by entering the competition that we've got live on the Facebook page as well. So make sure you go and have a little look. So find the whole range you'll find on Facebook. So it's facebook.com/the Range Arts and Crafts. So it's a special page just for arts and crafts, all the arts and crafts ideas at the Range, because I know the Range obviously sell everything. It's brilliant for you just to go and find out all of the things that you need for the arts and crafts. And don't forget that Black Friday deal with 30% off all of your classiques on there. Then all of that is going to be available from the 19th onwards. Okay, so from the 19th onwards, you'll be able to find all of the Black Friday deals in store, including the one that we've got on our classics with an extra 30% off. Brilliant. Well, that's been an amazing couple of hours. We've had loads and loads to cover there as well. Thank you so much for joining with us. It's been wonderful to see all of the comments that you guys have been making as well. And I hopefully we'll be able to do a lot more of these more regularly and teach you more of those techniques that you've been asking about. Remember, you can head on over to YouTube and have a look in the Crafter's Companion YouTube page, and you'll find all of the, people are asking about heat embossing and advanced die cutting techniques. All of that we'll take care of over there, but it's been brilliant to give you a little bit of an introduction of absolutely everything. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've managed to save this onto your page and you'll be able to come back and watch it later. And I'll see you soon for the next one. Bye bye.